I'd like to take a minute to acknowledge, this is not everybody, but those that are here right now. We want to acknowledge our State Superintendent of Education, Jesús Aguirre, Rayshawn Cross and Settles, Carrie Thornhill, Bibi Otero, and Mayor Vincent C. Gray, who will be joining us shortly. At this time, I'd like, if you would kindly come to the stage, our Superintendent of Education, Jesús Aguirre.
Good evening. One of my children likes to make fun of me. He's a teenager, so he makes fun of me about almost everything. But the other day, he's like, "So what's your new job?" And I said, "Okay, I'm the State Superintendent of Education." And he says, "So what's the name of your office?" The Office of the State Superintendent of Education. Is like, "Huh, that's kind of dumb. You go work in your office every day." So, you know, it's a weird name for an office, but I'm just like him. You guys didn't laugh at my jokes. He doesn't laugh at my jokes either. I got you at least on that one. I'm really excited to be here tonight. I have to apologize. We were supposed to have on your program, you should see that there was supposed to be a presentation by some students, but they weren't able to make it today, so you're stuck with me. I do want to very, very quickly thank you all here. When you do these things, part of the first thing you do is you acknowledge all of the VIPs, all of the important people, and we've acknowledged some of them. Certainly, Rayshawn Crossan, our intern assistant superintendent at the Office of the State Superintendent. Your title's even worse than mine. Let's give her a hand. Deputy Mayor Bibi Otero, who really has led a lot of this work with you all for many, many years. So I'm really glad that she's here tonight. And Carrie Thornhill, who you'll hear from in a bit, she's got several jobs, or she's officially retired. I don't know how many different jobs she has, but thank you for being here and keeping us honest here, Carrie. But really, the most important, VIPs in the room are all of you, and this is why we're here tonight. So I want to make sure that you do this, and we're going to do this all night. But give yourselves all a big round of applause for all the work that you do every day. And we're really here to celebrate the work that all of our teachers, our providers, our center directors, all of you who touch children's lives every day. So I'm excited and privileged to be a part of this night tonight. Everything that you do literally prepares our children for success. Yesterday, we had an event where we cut the ribbon on a new center called the Re-Engagement Center. This Re-Engagement Center is focused on providing young adults opportunities to reconnect to our educational system. These are kids who have dropped out for lots of different reasons. The main picture, the main message there was that we're going to do all this great work to help bring them back, but the work really starts with all of you. And all of the investments and all of the time that you put into this and getting the children ready for success in school is really what's going to put that center out of business. So that's the challenge for you, is in the next 16, 18 years, that center shouldn't be in business anymore, because all of us here do the job that we need to do, very difficult job that we need to do to make sure our kids are ready. So we understand that connection. We know that our centers, our preschool, our family child care homes play an important role in our children's development. And you do this by planning developmentally appropriate activities that stimulate their physical, emotional, intellectual, social growth. And you also provide a very important service for our families by providing a place for their children to be so they feel safe and can go to work and continue to improve the outcomes for their families. This mayor, as you know, and he's on his way, he will be here in a minute, but this mayor, deputy mayor, this administration really understands the impact that early learning and early childhood development experiences have on our children, and have really invested the resources. Literally tens of millions of dollars every year in supporting the work that you do. If you hear on the national landscape, there's governors and mayors all across the country saying, yes, we're going to do universal pre-K, we're going to do this with our early childhoods, we're going to do infant and toddlers. And they say it, and then they're like, yeah, but we got to figure out how to pay for it. In D.C., we've done that. And again, it is a true testament to the administration here, to the mayor especially, for his work, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but making sure that not only do we believe it's important, but we're actually putting the resources behind it. And so I want to certainly acknowledge that. And you all know this, and part of this is also, as we, in addition to the subsidy dollars, we really want to make your job easier and help you improve the quality. So, we do grants on facilities improvements, we do expansion grants, professional development grants, all of these other programs that we've heard from you are important. Opportunities like the conference that we saw a video on, really we believe and we hear from you that are important in terms of helping you do your job better, so we're going to continue to do that. And it's also important to note that 90% of the money that we spend on our children is local money. And that's important because that, again, it's an investment that we're making ourselves, not just the administration, but obviously all of us as taxpayers. I think that the last couple things I wanted to say is, your job is incredibly challenging. We recognize that you do an incredibly challenging work, but it's also the most important job that I think you can do. We will go around the city and talk about all the great work that our schools are doing. I talked about the re-engagement work. I talk about all the post-secondary work, but really it has to start here. And all of those of you in this room every day making sure that every single child that interacts with an adult has a positive, developmentally appropriate interaction that really helps them, really is the key to the success for all of our children across the school district. So we really appreciate your work that you do every single day. We know it's hard work. And we really appreciate that you do it, and thank you for doing it. So tonight is about celebrating all of you. Tonight is about recognizing that the great contributions that you make to our children and to our city, so thank you very much.
I hope you're feeling special, because that's the purpose of tonight's event. Honorable Mayor Gray, who is on his way, Mr. Superintendent, Madam Superintendent for Early Learning, our Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, other city officials, award recipients, and all assembled. It is our honor and privilege to work with some of the brightest, creative, and most dedicated early learning, early success educators who do what is right and in the best interests of the youngest citizens and residents of the District of Columbia every day. As the Early Childhood Education Collaborative Network seeks to support improvements in K through 12 education, create the initial pathways toward career and college success, and contribute to the overall economic vitality of the city, the early education and care professionals and their supporters are pleased to join with you in celebrating excellence and greatness of the workforce of the early care and education field on this Night of the Stars. Have an outstanding evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Outdoor voices are still okay. It's after 6. So over the past several years, your hard work has produced substantial and meaningful improvements on our state of early learning in the District of Columbia. Thanks to you, the district has made tremendous gains in overall classroom environment, teacher effectiveness, and language development. These gains give the district optimism that we can and will continue to do better each year. Let's take a break from strategizing to improve the educational and social outcomes for our youngest learners to celebrate all of you. Tonight we recognize you for 4 different categories. The first, achievements of receiving their CDA credential for 2013 and 2014. For participants in the Infant and Toddler Quality Improvement Initiative, which kicks off our Read Baby Read initiative, and those who have obtained the highest average scores in the 2013-14 class, ITERS, FCCERS evaluation in the District of Columbia. Last but not least, those who have rendered service of 25 years or more in the District of Columbia Early Learning System. The Achievement Award acknowledges programs that have the highest average scores in the District of Columbia's class, ITERS, and FCCERS. As a part of OSSE's Quality Improvement Initiative, in 2013 and 14, an evaluation using rating scales, ERS, class were administered to 626 programs in the District of Columbia. ITERS and FCCERS measures environmental quality in infant and toddler classrooms, and FCCERS measures environmental program quality in family homes. The next award is CDA. The Child Development Credential achievement is a unique credentialing process administered by the Council of Professional Recognition, which results in the award for the CDA credential. The CDA competency standards are the core of the CDA program candidates seeking to earn a CDA credential. These national standards are the criteria used to evaluate an early care and learning professionals' performance with children, families, and their community. OSSE provided 200 early learning professionals with a scholarship to support them in their CDA credential this year through our Teach Scholarship Program. The Infant and Toddler Quality Improvement Initiative. In 2012, OSSE started the Infant and Toddler Quality Improvement Initiative in partnership with the University of the District of Columbia to increase the quality of early care and education. As an extension of our quality improvement efforts, we are launching our Read Baby Read campaign designed to provide evidence-based literacy strategies for providers and parents. The cornerstone of this campaign is the distribution of developmentally and culturally appropriate classroom library sets selected specifically for infants and toddlers. 17 centers will be recognized tonight for their participation in this professional development activity by the Early Childhood Leadership Institute. To show our appreciation for your dedication and support, each center will be presented with a classroom library set worth $500 for their commitment to improving quality early learning programs to the residents of the District of Columbia. And then last but not least, we will highlight those individuals who have rendered exceptional service of 25 years or more to the District of Columbia in the early learning field.
First, we have Big Mama's Children's Center, Board of Child Care, Brea Public Charter School. Thank you, ladies. Yes, Brooklyn Public Charter School, Dawn to Dusk CDC. All right. Educare of Washington, D.C., Edward C. Mazik Parent Child Center. Thank you. House of Ruth, Lieutenant Joseph Kennedy Institute, CDC. Noble Learning Communities, CDC. I know they're making their way up here. The Bean Foundation, AKA Happy Faces Learning Center. Walker Jones Education Campus. Thank you. 2 New Heights CDC. OSSE Learning Academy. Board of Child Care. Kids Are People 2 CDC 4. Kumba Learning Center. UPO at Frederick Douglass. Wibble Wobble. Bright Beginnings. Easter Seals. Thank you, ladies. Easter Seals, Ideal to CDC. Martha's Table. MCIP Teen and Parent CDC. Aracelis DeLone and Shirley Cox. Oh, so you're going to bring a new one to DC? Yay, a new student! Yay! Thank you. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Now, we want to acknowledge our Read Baby Read awardees, Assembly of the Saints, Barbara Chambers, CDC. And Bright Beginnings. Yeah, you won. I see you looking. Bright Start, we're going to bring you all up. Central Nia at Newton. Easter Seal, CDC. Edward C. Mazik. Ideal, CDC. Israel Manor, CDC. Kennedy Institute, CDC. Little Samaritan, CDC. I know. Martha's Table. CIP, Teen and Parents CDC. Southeast Children's Fund, CDC 1. Yeah, you can clap. Southeast Children's Fund, CDC 2. And our last one is Sunshine Early Learning Center. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your 2014 Read Baby Read Awards. Awardees. Okay, for CDA, the awardees are Esperanza Barrow, Grisel Ventura. Yes, I see her smile like me, yes. Guillermina Barras. Maria Romero. Sonia Solis. Now, we have 80 names on this list. Those are the ones that we have that are here right now and made it through the storm and the weather coming this way. So let's give it up for our CDA awardees. Now, we're at the segment of the program that really makes us excited, right? This is really it. This is the service awardees. We're talking 25 years. We're talking 50 years of dedication to our young, eager minds here in the District of Columbia. Let's give it up for everybody. All right. We're calling everyone's name whether they're here or not. Cornette Roberts Njuku. Ida Fleming. Gail Gray. Now, Cornette is with Rosemount Center. Gail Gray is with Roots Public Charter. She's coming. Take your time, take your time. Kim Bryant Payne is with Roots Public Charter as well, but Gail is here. She's going to accept it for both of them. Dr. Janet Uninu, Karen R. Jones, Almita Keys, all from the Marquis Center. Marzik Center. All 25 years. Cornette, Gail, Kim, Ida, Karen Jones, Almita Keys. That's 75 years of experience on this stage. Wow. Doesn't that look good? Now we have Sunshine Early Learning Center, 25 years. Dawn to Dusk Child Development Center, 25 years, yes. Thank you. Sanja Mason, United Planning Organization, 25 years. Big Mama's Children's Center, 25 years. And Tyra Hawkins, Big Mama's Children's Center, 25 years. Martha Foggy, Big Mama's Children's Center. Thank you. Martha Egas, Spanish Education Development, 25 years. Milagro Posada, Spanish Education Development. Margarita Duban, Spanish Education Development, 25 years. Yvonne Gamara, Spanish Education Development, 25 years. Jacqueline Garcia, Spanish Education, 25 years. Charo Montabalan, Spanish Education Development, 25 years. And Luis Duban, Spanish Education Development, 25 years. Thank you. Anacostia Kitty Academy, Randall Highland Private School, 25 years. Annie White, home provider, 25 years. Diane Galmon, home provider, 25 years. Eleanor Jackson, home provider, 25 years. And rounding off our 25 years is Patricia Reeves, home provider. Brenda Smith, home provider. Marlene Hudson, home provider. Oh, she hit, well, great, come on through. Yes, I love it. Oh, yes, okay, great. I didn't have you checked off, I love it. So we have Patricia Reeves, Brenda Smith. 43. Oh, my goodness. Wow, and smiled about it, 43. She must not have my daughter in her class. It's okay. And I want to make sure I said Marlene Hudson and Deborah Hall. They round out our 25 years, and our Deborah Hall is from Big Mama's Children's Center. But you're going to represent, there you go. Oh, it's your mother. Okay, a family thing, that makes it even more important. Her son's doing it too? It really is a family thing, okay. The last two, 50 years. Easter Seals, Jeanette Weinberg Center, Edward C. Marzik Parent-Child Center. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see now, coming into the building is our illustrious mayor, Mayor Vincent C. Gray, joining us on stage right on time. 50 years celebrating. No. We can turn for a great picture.
Well, thank you all very much, and good evening, everybody. Good evening. You know, my timing was impeccable. When they said 50 years, I walked up on the stage and said, no, not me. Been around for a while, but not 50 years, okay? You know, it really is wonderful to be here tonight, to be a part of recognition of people who have made such an enormous contribution to our early childhood education field. I am delighted to be here with our Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, who's done a great job working with us over the last 3 years, 9 months, or is it 39 years? And came from the private sector to do this, and I really want to thank her publicly again for having stepped up on some of the most difficult problems that we have in this city and any other city for that matter, especially homelessness and TANF and you know, some of the other difficult problems we have. So many of you worked with her before she got to her current position. So how about a big hand for BB Otero and the work that she's done. I'm delighted to be here also with our superintendent of the state organization, OSSE, the Office of the State Superintendent for Education, Jesús Aguirre, who came over from DPR to take this on, and really he is an educator by profession, by training, by experience. So he did a great job at DPR, and also has brought those management skills over to OSSE, which is no easy feat to be able to manage at OSSE. And I want to thank the person who's now the interim director of our interim superintendent. It's the assistant superintendent. I'll get it straight in a minute, y'all. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? For our early childhood education programs at OSSE, and that is Rayshawn Crossan Settles. I also, if I start picking people out of the crowd, boy, I'm going to be in deep trouble. But there's a few I do have to recognize. First of all, my dear friend who has been on this early childhood journey with me from the time we thought about doing legislation. She is my neighbor also. We went to the same high school, Carrie Thornhill, who is just such a great advocate for our young children in the city. And Barbara Kamara and Maurice Sykes and everybody else who's Dr. Gunling, I see you over there. We've got all the people who really have contributed mightily to bringing early childhood education into the sunlight, where I think it will remain in the future, ladies and gentlemen. Frankly, if I look back on the many things that we've had an opportunity to be involved in, and somebody asks me to put something at the top of the list, which they did recently, I would put early childhood education at the top of the list, because the investments the investments that we have been able to make there, and I don't want to be trite, but it truly is an investment in our future. There was a time when people would ask you the question, I'll never forget, Carrie, remember the time we went over to the, we were talking to going to this interview at a paper, not the Washington Post, it was another paper. We were working on the early childhood, the pre-K, universal pre-K legislation. And someone said, why don't you go over and talk to the people at this particular paper? And I knew when we went to that interview, 5 minutes into it, I said, boy, this is a total waste of time. And the person did an editorial afterwards, and what the person said was that this was a really terrible idea, because kids ought to be home at that age, they ought to be home with their parents. Now, it was one of the stupidest things that I had heard in a very long time. And I knew when I heard that, where it came from, that we were definitely on the right track to be able to get the universal pre-K through. And we got it through, ladies and gentlemen. We now have 80% of our 3-year-olds that go to school all day, every day, and we have 94% of our 4-year-olds that go to school all day, every day. You know, and I'm an unabashed, unashamed, flag-waving D.C. supporter. I'm a native Washingtonian, y'all, and all you got to do is ask me about D.C., and I'll be happy to stand up and tell you all about D.C., and I will tell you that there is no other city in America that is doing what we're doing with early childhood education at this stage. And we're not stopping when they're 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is too late to start. That's too late. We're now starting with infants and toddlers. We're investing more money. We got the rates up. We invested $11 million additional in 2014. We got another $4 million on top of that investment in fiscal 2015. And it means that people will be able to give raises to their staff when they hire teachers and whatnot, especially in our private sector programs, in our centers, and our home programs. They will be able to hire people at a higher wage and probably ultimately be able to invest in getting people at even higher levels than what we have now. And, you know, we're serving young people who now are 6 months of age, 9 months of age, a year old. And some of you have heard me say this before. My staff said I ought to stop doing it because it sounds creepy, okay? But I can't stop, all right? And I have said to folks, if I could get a fetus into a program, I would do it. And we do, don't we, BB? We do now. It's called our prenatal care program, all right? And if we get these women into care, you know, get them focused on on prenatal care, get them focused on stopping smoking, you know, make sure that we don't have other, you know, if you get into prenatal care, make sure you go for the whole 9 months. We will have a healthy start for our children, ladies and gentlemen. So When I say get a fetus into a program, I'm serious, you all. So, but you know what? You know what? In all seriousness, if we stay on the course that we're on now, our children are going to be enormously ready when they go to formal education, because there will be no start to formal education for them except when they are born. We now have, again, all these kids in pre-K programs. We're working on a kindergarten entry, readiness assessment tool with 8 or 9 other states and universities. And I don't mind saying, when I look at some of these campaigns, I'm just so excited tonight. I saw a campaign in another state the other day where you know what the big issue was? It was a gubernatorial race, and they were battling over. One had advocated for universal pre-K, and the other one had not. I said, all right, you all, keep it going on, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what we need to do. We need to have every candidate for every office across the United States of America talking about universal pre-K. Isn't it great to hear our president talking about universal pre-K and the Department of Education? And frankly, I don't have any reservations about saying that we started that conversation around universal pre-K in the District of Columbia. And yes, I don't mind saying either that we have had some outstanding early childhood educators in this city for a long time. Barbara and Maurice and Carrie, they've all done great jobs with our early childhood education programs. But we have now brought it to scale. There is now an expectation that children will go to school. Every school I go in now, and I go into a lot, I ask, show me the pre-K classroom. And you know what? People are ashamed if they have to say they don't have one. I even ask it when I go into high schools. Now, you know we don't have any pre-K classrooms in high school. We might have some people who are eligible for pre-K, but we don't have any classrooms there. You know, in all seriousness, I am really happy to be here. I thank you all for doing this. Thank you for thanking the people who have been pioneers in this field. And whoever it was that worked 50 years, you are a trooper. You are a good soul. So let's keep it going on, ladies and gentlemen. I want to let you all get back to the program. It's great to see so many people in here tonight. And thank you very much for what you do for the youngest of those, because by the time they get to the kindergarten, they ought to have had several years of developmental and educational programs already. And when they do, they're going to do a lot better than they otherwise would. Thank you all very much.
I hope you noticed from the way our mayor was talking about early childhood education that he gets a little excited about it, right? And it's clear that this is the most important issue for him. And Mr. Mayor, you know, on a personal note, it's, you know, the mayor goes around and talks about how hard these jobs are, but they're not hard when you have the kind of leadership like what we have here in the city. It's been an amazing opportunity to work with you, Mr. Mayor, but the reason it's not as hard is because you have a clear vision and you really help us get there. So I want to thank you on behalf of all of OSSE, on behalf of all of us, all of the providers, for all the work that you've done and continue to do. And this award is about your dedication to early childhood and the commitment. And as the mayor mentioned, and I talked about this earlier, everyone around the country, even the president, governors, mayors, everybody's talking about how do we do this, but we've done it, and it's been because of you, Mr. Mayor. So thank you and congratulations.
You know, I have to agree with Jesús and just express the thanks I have for the mayor and for his dedication to this work. I wish one of you had a chance to look at what his calendar looks like, what the kinds of issues he's dealing with day in and day out. But over these 4 years, he has managed to continue to stay totally abreast of early childhood, knows every detail, every fact, probably better than any of the rest of us, knows the numbers, knows where the children are, what we've done, and he has been a steadfast supporter. I mean, there is nothing that we've gone to him with collectively, and this has been a real collective effort between Human Services and Education, as it was imagined to be when we started working on this strategy. And there's never been a time when he said, that's enough, or we're not doing that. And he talks about the $11 million that was put in the budget last year. It got us 200 additional infant toddler seats across the city. He is constantly asking, how is this affecting the community-based services? How is this affecting the child development centers? How does this affect the family centers? He really believes in this three-sector strategy that we've built around early childhood education. And that commitment has just never wavered in the 4 years that we've been working. It's been a really phenomenal pleasure to work with him alongside on a vision that so many of us have had for, I don't know, 50 years. Some of us were up here. So I was just telling Jesús that I started in kindergarten at Brightwood Elementary in 1974. That was one of my first teaching jobs in the District of Columbia, and to see the change that we've had both in the schools and in the community-based settings, it's just amazing. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for your leadership. I don't know if anybody who is going to be able to reach, you've set a bar. You've set a very, very high bar that we're going to hold everybody else to in the future. So thank you very much.
I think I've said quite enough, don't you all? Well, I want to thank you all very much for this. It was completely unexpected. I came tonight because I really wanted to be a part of honoring the people who've done such great work over the years in early childhood education. It's been wonderful to watch this community develop the way it has, to become so professional and continue to be as dedicated as the folks in this room and across this city are. And again, if you don't mind me saying so, it is a real honor to work with the folks that I work with every day. The problems are tough, but we have folks who are pretty much on the same page. Our senior staff meets every Monday, sometimes for 2 and 3 hours, and it's wonderful to work with people. And I'll tell you something else. You never get an argument when we talk about early childhood education, just how much more can we do, how do we get it done, and let's sustain our commitment. So thank you all for this. This will be forever a part of me, however long that may be. And I hope forever that early childhood education will be a part of what you all do in what you do in the rest of your life, because frankly, it is no overstatement to say you are really shaping the future when you shape these kids. Thank you all very much.
Mayor Vincent Gray, the District of Columbia Head Start Association, on behalf of its membership and offices, would like to recognize you for not only your staunch support of early child care and education programs, but for your persistence in elevating the district to its preeminent position as a national leader in early childhood program. Mayor Gray, you have shined the light on the need for early and high-quality comprehensive education services to all of the district's youngest children and followed through with legislation and funding that will live on well beyond your term as mayor. Your early childhood vision is a beacon to other cities and states faced with bridging the growing educational divide between children born into resources and those that promise awaits. And the system you have engineered to support that vision serve as a template for others across the nation. Mayor Gray, the DC Head Start Association thanks you for carrying the banner for the children and families who are we are also committed to serving. You are our champion. You have inspired us by your many years of dedicated and committed services to the district's most prized possession, our children. Our hope is that more champions are close at hand to carry on your great work and legacy of service to your beloved DC residents. And because the National Head Start Association is holding its annual conference next year here in the district, Head Start will be celebrating 50 years, and you have bridged the gap between Head Start, Early Head Start, and child care. You and your wonderful team. We want to say thank you, and we want you to be properly regaled when you attend the conference. So here is your 50-year pin.
Well, again, I have to thank everyone, but you know, there's one thing we have to do before we close out. Rayshawn Cross and Settles, will you please come to the stage? Yes, we have one more award to give tonight to the Interim Assistant Superintendent of Early Learning, Division of Early Learning. Please come to the stage.
I'm going to ask the Division of Early Learning team to please come to the stage quickly, please, so that we can close the program. Those that would like to can. While they're walking, it is appropriate that on a night of the stars that we honor a star. In biblical times, they talked about the North Star being a compass for direction, talking about when they were lost and they needed to know their way, they would point to the North Star. Well, for the last 2 years, we have had a North Star. In moments of darkness, uncertainty, loneliness, we've had someone that would illuminate direction, that would illuminate hope, that would say, follow me and I will lead you. So on this night, like the many other stars, we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge our North Star, Rayshawn Cross and Settles.